Hey guys, this is the Writing Prompt channel. Here, we take posts from Reddit and read out loud the best stories with the help of a bot. Enjoy this amazing story. The Writing Prompt by user Avalon88. The knight grasped the blade in his hands tightly. The roar of dragons hot on his heels as he ran. You know, when they told me to save the Princess of Swords from the dragon's castle, I expected an actual princess and one dragon. Oh, shut up, replied the sword. Here is the amazing story made with the help of the prompt by user Breenog. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. The sword in Murdoch's hand sang happily. Oh my god, Murdoch screamed. You realize there are dragons chasing us, right? Quote. Of course, the sword replied. Her voice was as imperious as any princess Murdoch had ever encountered. So, he said, dodging a blast of fire, do you plan on helping anytime soon? Quote. The sword laughed. So, I have to my job and yours? Quote. Your job? Murdoch said. So far you've done fuck all. He heard the intake of breath behind him and lunged behind a boulder. Half a second later, the area around him was bathed in flame. Smoke rose from his magically reinforced armor and his skin blistered. 2 more breaths later, the boulder cracked and started to fall apart. I don't believe that is the proper way to address a princess, the sword said. For crap's sake, he cried. I've saved actual princesses that I had to carry on my shoulders that were more helpful than you. Quote. He tightened the grip on her handle and stepped from behind what was left of the rock. He took a fighting stance and prepared to meet the charge of the lead dragon. The sword began to back and jerk. I told you. You can't use me. It squealed. Fine, Murdoch yelled. He dropped the princess and drew his own blade. How dare you? The princess wailed. Murdoch didn't have time to respond. He called forth his power and let out a deafening roar. The lead dragon ran into a wall of force. The other 2 dragons rammed their compatriot in the rear. Murdoch used the time to pull a last scroll from his bag of holding. Excuse me, the princess said. I'm still on the ground. There's dirt on the ground. You know that, right? Quote. Cracks formed in Murdoch's barrier as the dragons pressed forward. He was only halfway done reading the scroll, and it didn't look like he would finish in time. He couldn't stop reading, though. Bad things happened when incomplete magic was let loose. I said, the princess pressed, drawing out the words. I'm getting filthy just lying here. Quote. The barrier fell and the dragons advanced. Murdoch read faster, but the dragons were less than a handful of feet from Hymesia. This was it. His last stand. Even if the incantation completed, it wasn't going to do squat against 3 dragons. I see, the princess intoned. It appears another unworthy knight has come for me. Murdoch couldn't believe those were the last words he was going to hear. His voice faltered and the scroll burned to ash. Wild magic tore through the air, blowing dust and debris about. The lead dragon held up a single claw and pulled the magic into it. Yup, the princess said. You're done for. That's what you get for getting me dirty. Murdoch turned his back on the dragons. They were going to kill him anyway. You don't like dirt, he yelled. Too bad. He kicked as much dirt on the princess as he could. Stop. The word echoed. Murdoch turned to see the lead dragon's head bowed before Hymesia. The eyes didn't look right. They seemed swollen and maybe a little bloodshot. We're not trying to kill you, the dragon gasped. You're not? Murdoch said. No, the dragon replied. It sounded relieved. We're trying to thank you. Murdoch was flabbergasted. For stealing from you? Quote. You'll have to spell it out for him, the princess said. He's not too bright. Oh my god. Will you please shut up? Murdoch and the dragon said in unison. The quiet that followed lasted a long time. It was broken by the sound of the heavy coin purse hitting the ground. This concludes our transaction, the dragon said. Transaction? Murdoch asked, nonplussed. Yes, the dragon said. This is your reward for ridding us of this thing. If we ever hear it again, we will lay waste to your kind. Is that all I'm worth? The princess asked. The dragon raised its head and fired a stream of flame at the blade. Sarafax, one of the trailing dragons, hissed. Stop wasting your fire. That doesn't work. You've only been trying for 100 years. The dragon grumbled. At least now I can get some sleep. Murdoch watched the dragons fly away, bemused. That's right. Cowards. Run away. The princess called. Murdoch looked at the sword he'd been paid to rescue. What was he going to do with the thing? Don't stand there looking stupid, it said. Pick me up. Murdoch picked up the sword, ignoring its nattering. He put in his bag of holding and the sound blessedly ceased. He decided the next time he was in Seaport, there was an ocean that suddenly desperately needed a new sword. The end. Thank you guys for checking out this channel. Please subscribe, like and share this video. See you in next one. Thank you and goodbye.